And hello, and we're going to have a game of Fury at Midway, designed by Bonsai Games and Yasushi Nakaguro. So let's get on with the game. We'll start a new game. I'm playing as the Japanese in this game. The US is the AI. There will be a Japan AI in due course. That's being developed at the moment. It'll be done fairly soon, I hope. So we'll begin the game, and we've got to do the initial Japan setup. I'm not going to spend too long dwelling on either the rules or of the game or how this PC version works. There's a set of instructional videos that I'll put in the links below to show how this PC program works. And I'm going to rattle through this fairly quickly because I'm going to assume that people are familiar with the rules and the game, so that I can keep it as short as possible. So I'm going to have Akagi's fighter units in cap, and there is a decision to be made as to how many cap units and how many escort units you have for each carrier division. I'm going to have 3 cap units, I think, and the fourth fighter unit is going to be on the flight deck, ready to escort a Japanese strike. I'm going to do the same for carrier division 2. And you click on next action, and it brings up the next group of carrier planes. So again, I'm going to have 3 fighter units in cap, 1 for fighter escort. If you put 4 in cap, which you could do, it tends to make the strike groups vulnerable to American fighter defenses, but you do need a strong cap defense because chances are the Americans are going to hit you pretty hard in the early strikes. They've got the advantage with the air search, as we'll see. So that's the initial setup, and I get my card draw, and I have high-speed reconnaissance here, which is a really useful card if I want to try to get an advantage in the initial search value, which will give me potentially more or as many air operations as the Americans, and that's crucially important in this first part of the game. Okay, so the Americans have done their setup and card draw. So the Americans are right on the far side of the map there, so I don't think I want to play this, so I'm not going to play that. But that does mean I could play the midway. Yeah, okay, let's go for a midway attack. This is an unusual situation where the American initial position of their fleet is right on the far side. They wouldn't normally do that. The AI is programmed to be a bit variable. So let's put that there. Actually, we could put it here, and we'll hit midway, and we'll do a midway strike. Now, I'll zoom in a bit. You can only drag a fighter unit across once. There's already an attack aircraft in the strike box, so that because you can't have strikes with only fighter units. So in this occasion, the dive bomb units moved across. There's the Soryu's fighter unit. Okay, let's move some Hiryu units across as well. So we have 3 attack units plus the Soryu's fighter unit. Then we have this is the strike group 2, which has to move to either of these 2 units in order to be within range of midway for the second air op. It will take 2 air ops to hit midway, so we're going to move that across, and then we'll do the second air op, and then we'll hit midway, and at which point we're going to get midway's cap interception. This is the American AI deciding. On this occasion, it's actually not deciding really. It's just going to fly its cap and throw the dice. It will roll the dice. It's rolled the dice. It's got 1 hit here, because this unit needs to roll a 2 or less, it's rolled a 1. This unit needs to roll a 1, it's rolled a 2 and a 6. So we got 1 hit. I'll take that from my fighter unit. I have to allocate my damage. That means I'm going to get 6 steps, I think, to... well, first of all, I can actually counter-attack. I've missed. Then there's the Midway anti-aircraft fire, 3 dice. That's a miss. And then I get the 6 dice. Each unit has an attack strength of 3. It needs to roll less than that to get a hit, but because it's Midway, there's a DRM for these two, presumably because these guys are a little bit less proficient at attacking airfield installations than seaborne targets, so they have to roll 2s or less. Should still get a couple of hits, I think. And yeah, I get 1. Okay, that's not too bad. And with the Midway rules, where the base damage, you get a hit and you have to then roll to see which box is actually hit. 1 or 2 hits box 1, 3 or 4 hits box 2, and 5 or 6 hits box 3. On this occasion we've got a 3, so that's box 2. And then we have to move our units back to the return 1 box. Even though this was a 2-op air operation, the rules state that it always goes to return 1. So they'll be back on the aircraft carriers in the next air operation. And we then move on to the next air op. So the Americans are playing it cagily in this game. This is a slightly unusual strategy from the American AI. It normally comes after the Japanese and tries to get the first strike in. So we'll see how this one pans out. Now, because I don't have any air ops left, two were used in the Midway attack. The Americans have 3. We're not going to be able to do very much. But I don't think the Americans are either. So they're out of range. So that's not going to buy them anything. But they do have Midway in range. So just to have a look, what's happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4. The American carrier fleet is out of range, but the Midway base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in range. So they've got a strike coming in here, and I could play this card to see whether it's lost. But I'm not going to do that because I think the Midway strike is probably the weakest unit, so I'm not going to do that. I don't care about that. And yeah, it's this single B-26. I can deal with that with my cap, I think. So I'll allocate a cap unit. And yeah, I've got it, so that's going to be eliminated. So I didn't need to play that card. And what I do now is put my cargo fighter unit back into the hangar, and we move on to the next air action. So at the moment, there are now the Americans have 1 air operation left this turn, and there's not much they can do. So we move on. And at the end of turn 1, nothing much has happened. The victory points state that, as things stand, the US is in the lead because they control Midway, but long way to go. I intend to invade there. Do I want to play this card? Well, if he moves closer, and I could move closer, I suppose. I don't think I do want to play this card, actually, to be honest. I don't think I want to hit Midway. Let's move up there somewhere. Americans have moved slightly closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're still out of range, so this is going to be a very boring turn because neither side is in range. My Midway planes are going to come back to the hangar. I'll move him on there. I'm not in range, so I can't launch any strikes here. This time the US has initiative because I've got no air ops left. And I'll get that again. They can't do anything either. So that's the end of turn 2. Do I want to play that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could move closer and play that card. But I don't have too much on deck. So no, I'm not going to play that card. I'm going to stay where I am. So he's moved closer, so we are within range this time. So we might get some carrier action. But only 2-1 in terms of air op, so perhaps not that much is going to happen. I've actually got the initiative, which is interesting. So I can launch a strike. I've only got one air op, and it's no, so I can't get close. I can't actually even launch an air operation because it's the night turn next, and so no. What I've got to do then is, well, all I can do is move my planes on deck. Do that. Yeah, we'll play that. US strike lost. Okay, so there's a Yorktown strike coming in. Yeah, it's the aircraft fire, and this is a Hornet strike coming in now. Going after Hiryu. Missed. So we got away with that. A couple of strikes came in. That's because the Americans had 2 air ops and I only had 1, so they could launch some strikes and I couldn't. But I wonder whether they'll have night landings. I'm not sure. We'll see, actually. I don't know. We go into the... I'll play that card. That's just a loss of an American step from their last strike. That's the end of turn 3. Not much going on. Now, at the beginning of this turn 4, the night turn, I'm going to want to move my Midway invasion fleet on, and I'm going to want to move him down there as well, I think, to cover him. The American carrier fleet is staying away. And then I want to do my night operations, so I can move these back to the hangars. I can move them back out again. Yeah, move him back out there, him back out there. I shall maximise that. So we're all set for turn 4. Not much has happened so far. A fairly uneventful first day, which is unusual. Very unusual first day. That's the AI playing cagely on this particular occasion. But because of that last strike, the US had to do a night landing because they had strike aircraft in the return 2 box. But luckily for the American AI, the American player, they didn't roll any 5s or 6s, so all of their returning strike aircraft managed to land on their carriers without any losses. So we move into turn 5, and the Americans have played this submarine card, and would score a hit on a roll of 1. They've missed, so nothing there, and that's the end of turn 4. Still the same but as before. I think I'm going to play that now. Yeah, I'm going to play that. Get my Japan hand. Elite pilots. No. I'll move my Midway invasion force closer. Let's move to point blank range. Oh, we are at point blank range, but I've got that card, and that's because I've got 4. Would I have got that anyway? Possibly. Yeah, no. Maybe I didn't need to play that card, actually. Oh well. It's 4 each. So this is now going to be a bit of a a crapshoot. We have equal chances of getting success here. We're all primed and ready. So I think the action's about to start. And I've got the initiative. That's good. So that at the very least means I won't be hit with my planes on deck. I'm going to form 2 strikes. That's the Hiryu Soryu strike. And this is the Akagi Kaga strike. I've got not too many fighter escorts there, so that's not optimal. I'll move these up. I can hit him next time. That's not great, so we'll see what happens. But I can hit him first. So that's yeah. So I can hit him first. So I move my strike group into the American fleet hex. And he has plenty of cap up. I'm going to want to go after Task Force 17, the Yorktown. I will succeed on a roll of 1 to 3, and I've succeeded. So, do I want to play? No, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. He's got 1 hit. I can take that off there. So I'm going to have 6 steps to attack. -1 there for the anti-aircraft. I'll take that off the torpedo unit for the Hiryu, and I've got 5 dice, so this should sink the Yorktown here, and it has. I got 3 hits. Okay, so we've sunk Yorktown, which is good. Now we have our second strike going in. That's got to go against Task Force 16. This is probably going to get chewed up by the cap. I've got no fighter escort here, which is not great. Ooh, 4 hits. That's kind of bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, should have taken it off the... I didn't realise I had a fighter unit there. Oh well, never mind. Made a mistake there. I've got 1 unit left. Go off to Enterprise. Gets 1 hit. So Enterprise has got 1 hit. I made a bit of a mess of that. Okay. Now I move my strike aircraft back to the return 1 box. I'm probably going to get hit pretty hard by the Americans in the upcoming air operation. We'll see what happens. So the Air Ops Initiative, yeah, the US have got this one, so they're going to hit me pretty hard now. Here we go. But I have got some cap. Yes, I will play that. And that's wiped out that strike, but there will be more to come for sure. It's on CD1. Yeah, wiped out that strike as well. That's an Enterprise torpedo bomber strike on Carrier Division 1. And that's it so far, but they will have more planes in the next air ops. We got away with that so far, looking good. Hiryu's fighter unit goes back there. These are the cap units returning to their flight decks, and they can go up back onto cap if I can get the next air ops. So this next die roll is going to be quite important. And as we can see, the US and Japan are at 3 air op points each. So this is 50-50 as to who wins this. And Japan has won it. That's great. Oh, that's good news. That means I can put some units back up into cap. And I can also strike him as well. So let's put those up there. And we'll put that one up there as well. And we'll put this over here. And I think we'll put a strike up with 1 fighter escort. Move these back into the hangar of the Hiryu, Soryu, Kaga's planes, and this we can hit the American fleet here, and we're going to go after Task Force 16. He's got 2 hits on us. We can take that off those. We still have so that the fighter escort absorbed the 2 hits from the American cap there, and now we're going to have a combined attack with Soryu and Kaga's dive bomber and torpedo planes. No anti-aircraft hits. I think we'll try and sink Enterprise with these, and we've sunk it there. There we go. So Enterprise is sunk. Fantastic stuff. Okay. So 2 American carriers sunk. I'm sure they'll come back with a strike against us with the Hornet planes if they have any left. The Americans have decided to go after the Midway invasion fleet. I get to fire my anti-aircraft. That's miserable. No hits. This is actually a Midway strike against MIF. Missed. No hits. And this is another incoming strike against my carrier fleet. CD2, yeah, this is a combined Enterprise Hornet strike there. I assume these have flown off the Hornet because the Enterprise is sunk. So let's put some cap up. 4 dice, 2 hits, pretty good. It's 2 out of the 3 steps gone. 1 Hornet step left. That will attack unless I can get it with my anti-aircraft, which I don't. And he's attacking Soryu and missed. So doing okay here, not too bad. Those cap units now get to return onto the Hornet, sorry, the Hiryu flight deck. Okay, so let's have a look at the situation here. US has used up their remaining units. They don't have much left. So I assume that was rearranging whatever flight units they have. Ready for a strike next turn. Now I have 2 air ops here. So I think I can get in another strike perhaps. Let's move him up there. We'll get those up there. Get these units back into their hangars. I think I'll be able to launch a strike next turn. Move that Hiryu unit up onto its... So next turn I'll be able to launch a pretty powerful strike actually. So let's do that. And my last air op of this turn, and I can launch a strike here. So let's launch a strike. We've got Hiryu's dive bomber unit, we've got Hiryu's fighter unit, Soryu's torpedo bombers. We can move these guys up onto the flight deck. Put that there. And we'll launch we can move that across. And we can see that the Enterprise in Yorktown is sunk, so we can hit Hornet here. We've only got 1 cap unit, which it fires against us. Gets 2 hits, but we can take that from our fighter. We should be able to sink this now, actually. Despite that 1 hit, we still have 5 steps. And it's sunk. So all 3 American carriers are now sunk, which pretty much, I think, means we pretty much won the game. Without needing to invade Midway. But the US has played the toe to a friendly port card, so that means we might not have won just yet. And it's 2-2, so I haven't won yet. I might need to, yeah, I may yet still need to invade Midway to win the game. I'm going to attack Midway, yeah, because I think there's no American carriers left. It's now time to hit Midway. I'll move my Midway invasion fleet across. He can come down here. Might as well hit Midway with everything I've got, because I don't think there's any American carriers to cause us any problems, so we'll send him across there as well. I don't have too much fighter escort, but I think we should be okay. So we're going to hit Midway with this strike. That's the cap interception, the Midway fighters. They've got 1 hit. We could absorb that with this cargo fighter unit. Anti-aircraft fire is 3 dice. No hits. And we have our 5 steps worth of attack aircraft, which get 2 hits. And then we have to roll for which... Midway base is destroyed, yeah, because we'd already got 1 before, so that's eliminated the Midway base. And that means that the Midway garrison is now down to 3, the Midway invasion force at 5, so we'd have a pretty good chance next turn of taking Midway. I don't think the Americans can do very much. Can they? They may still have some. They can't even attack the Midway invasion force because all 3 American carriers are gone and the Midway base is destroyed. So I don't need to worry about being attacked here. We can just plod through now to the end of the game and the Midway invasion, which may or may not succeed. But I can put these planes back in their carriers, and we don't need to do very much now. We can just go through to the end of the game. And that's the end of turn 6. It's still 2-2. I will need to invade Midway. I've got a Japanese card draw error placements. I don't really care about that. The Midway invasion force needs to be adjacent to Midway, and it is, in order to be able to invade next turn or at the end of this turn. Okay, we've got 4 points, but there's nothing we can do, so I'm just going to rattle through this very quickly, and let's get on to the end of the game and the Midway invasion, which will decide the game, which probably about 50% of the time the Midway invasion does actually decide the game. And then the final die roll. No, we don't want to play that. Okay, so here's the Midway invasion, and the situation is that my Midway invasion level is 5. I managed to reduce the Midway garrison down to 3 by destroying the base. So let's roll the die, and you need to roll less than your Midway invasion level or Midway garrison level strengths to get a hit on the other side. So I roll 3, I get a hit. He rolls a 5 and misses. I roll a 4 and get a hit. He rolls a 3 and misses, and an invasion successful, and I win the game 4-0. And that's because I invaded Midway. So I sunk 2 carriers, got Midway. He didn't sink any carriers, failed to hold Midway. And the final result is Japan 4, America 0. And that's the end of this fantastic little game from Bonsai Games. Thank you for watching, and we'll do another one again soon.